Hello, everybody. Yes, I'm from Gorée Island, as you said. Gorée Island is a small, tiny island off the west coast of Africa. So basically, a small, tiny rock, 900 meters long, 300 meters wide, in the middle of the ocean, facing the Atlantics and Caribbeans and so on. Beautiful island, but with a big history, because that's like one of the most famous place where they used to take the slave from Africa straight to the Caribbeans, to North, and to the whole diaspora. So, an interesting place for everybody to have a look and study about, because that's basically the place we call the last door of no return. And that place kind of attracts a lot of people for the history, but that's how we meet people from all over the world, musicians, artists, celebrities, and everything. And hence, that's where I met the person who brought me to Hong Kong.
And speaking of the people that, Gorée Island attracts, I mean, we're talking about state presidents. Obama has been there, Bill Clinton has been there, George Bush has been there, Mandela has been there, James Dean, I think you mentioned as well. There are so many people that have come to Gorée Island to do whatever that they are doing. So you grew up as well, just seeing, people that didn't look like you, that are allegedly famous, even though maybe you didn't even know them, but you knew that there are people of Asian descent, of British descent, of people that are coming from all over the world. So your eyes were open from a very early age in terms of the possibilities that are out there.
Yes, that's correct. We had a chance to meet a lot of people from, like we said, all over the world, celebrities, everyone. And because it's a tiny little island, so you get to see them daily, or they probably went in the next house right next door to you. So I remember my father used to sit every morning with Bob Dylan. You know Bob Dylan?
Yeah.
My father and his friend, they used to sit every day with him. They knew who he was, but probably a lot of people in the island don't know. But this is such that the island is like that. Even Youssou N'Dour is the most popular musician from Senegal. He says it all the time. He says, this is the only place everywhere in the world that I go, people see me, they know who I am, but they just keep on doing what they do. Because people are so used to seeing people up close. So, but at the same time, I had no idea about Hong Kong at all. Never seen a picture of it, and have no expectation, except I meet somebody there who then mentioned about Hong Kong, and still I didn't get to check or see what it is, because that time when I had no way to check anyway, because there was no social media or anything.
Yeah.
So the only thing I had in my mind as a picture was like the kung fu movies that we used to watch. So that's what I thought I was going to see when I came here, honestly. So, yeah.
And just to take it back a bit, so you learned how to play the djembe. Did your dad teach you the djembe again?
Yeah, my dad was playing an instrument, but not quite the djembe. He was playing a square instrument we call asiko. But because everybody plays in the island and it's so small, so you can't escape from the sound. Even if you're the other side, somebody's playing on the top of the hill, you hear it. So you basically learn the songs before even you actually play it, because it's constantly playing in your ears.
Yeah, you mentioned your dad quite a few times because he had quite an impact in your life. Interesting fact, he was a star swimmer in your island, right?
Yeah, in Senegal, in Africa in general, because he was a champion of Senegal for a few years as 100-meter freestyle swimmer. And I grew up like that, and he was also a national basketball player and handball and soccer. So I grew up playing sport every day and music, and my dad put me through all that, and I'm very grateful because all of those helped me when I came here.
You have a very interesting story, Makha, about, because you lived in an island, right? And people would go from Senegal to Gorée, and you'd see this ferry coming, and as a young kid, what did you guys do that absolutely stunned tourists every time they saw it?
Yeah, well, because it was a tiny little island, we didn't have much to do. So anything that we did, we really did it with everything we had, right? So The island is starting small, and we had a ferry that leaves from the city to the island every half an hour or an hour, just like where I live now, Mama. So for us as a kid, being a swimmer, we swim every day. So when the ferry arrives, the only way we could make some money is to actually, we dive in from the pier, 500 meters, and then we go and meet the ferry. And we're talking about big ferries like the Lama ferries. So what we would do is we would swim to the ferry and then put our feet in front of it, on the nose. And the ferry would kind of push us back. So tourists are a little bit bewildered, and then we ask them, oh, can you throw some coins in the sea? We're gonna find it. They're like, what? We're like, yeah. So they will take like some euro coins and stuff, and they will throw it down and go get it and then show it to them. So we do that throughout the day, and that's how we play.
Right. And of course it was a surprise, I can imagine, you know, people that don't know what to expect when they get to Africa, let alone the island, and they're seeing these little black kids swimming. Because another thing, which is a stereotype that we need to really revisit and fix, is that, you know, black people don't swim. In fact, you come from a lineage of swimmers. Your dad was a champion in swimming. You're a pretty good swimmer yourself. You actually dabbled in swimming here, I think, a bit, but we'll get into that. So the Djembe though, so it wasn't the swimming that brought you to Hong Kong. It wasn't the basketball either. And it was definitely not you trying to find tourist coins on the bottom of the sea. But it was the Djembe instrument. And I want us to paint a picture for us, in case somebody doesn't know what that is.
Countries on the complete west of Africa, which is Mali, Guinea, Burkina Faso, Senegal, and Ivory Coast.
Right.
So this is where this drum is from. And the tradition is spread amongst those 5 countries. And every rhythm has a meaning, and the dance comes with it. And we celebrate everything using these drums, especially way back in the days. Now, less so because the modern era. But this was very much part of everything we do growing up. And so yes, this is what I play. And as you can see, this is actually a bit of a different one. This is not quite.
It's not really his.
It's not mine. It's not. It's just not like the traditional one, even though it's nicely covered. But the traditional one, you will have gold skin or curry skin, but real one. So that's what Djembe is. Very interesting indeed. It's hard to know where to start, because yeah, it was quite experienced. For me, coming from a small island like I just described, to just have no idea, no picture even where you're going, let alone have a completely different picture, to then land in Central, right at Ferry Pier 4, out of the taxi because we were tired, we didn't even look outside, right, when we were coming to the airport. So I just remember getting out of the taxi and turning around. Yeah. And there was no IFC then though, but obviously all the other buildings out there. So I remember just having this shock, and I'm like, I told Neil, I said, I don't think I can stay here more than 2 weeks, I gotta go. He's like, no, what are you talking about? I said, how can I live here? Look at where we come from. It's just not what I was expecting. And he goes, you know what, Maha? I said, what? He said, there is just an island like yours, just around the corner. I'm like, really? He said, yes. I'm like, no, it can't be. With this, where's the water? Then as we get closer to the pier, it started making sense. So I see the ferry, similar size to our ferries. I'm like, oh, okay, now I know this. Where China is just booming. Everywhere is like a construction site. And you get people, hundreds of thousands in the train from the whole area trying to get a job in the big city like Shenzhen, Guangzhou, Shanghai. I just can't describe the feelings. Being inside the train station, only one black guy. I felt some point that sometimes I've been looked at to the point I can't even feel my feet touching the ground. Yes, because I was the main attraction. I've been to the Beijing, the Great Wall in 2004. Because we were doing a tour for Formula One. We were doing a promotion for the first Chinese Grand Prix in 2004. So we had to go to different cities, playing with the car parts of Formula One and promoting it. So this weekend we were in Beijing, and I went to the Great Wall for curiosity. After all, I studied home, school. And I remember being on it and just checking around and being amazed by what I'm seeing. All of a sudden, I feel like there's a lot of people around me. I'm like, then it turns out I ended up being
The main attraction.
the song, yes. I was like, okay, this is what it is. And, you know, all of these stories I cherish so much because I can see a lot of changes today now, positively, and I'm very happy it is.
And I'm so glad that you mentioned that. However, what is it that kept you going when you were building who Makha is now, your organization, and just living out the passion that you're doing? What is it that kept you going? I know that you have a very sweet memory of your Chinese mom. Maybe share that with us. You know, you lose a mom when you leave home, and then you gain one in Hong Kong.
Yes. So I had a Chinese lady who was, I don't even know how to describe it, but she's everything to me in Hong Kong here. Because when I came here with my two friends and Neil, we were in the band, Djembe Massive. After a year, we separated, and that's where they had to find their own ways, see. But during that time on Mama, I met this woman who just loved me like a son. She couldn't speak English, I couldn't speak Chinese. I only came here in Hong Kong speaking French, because we were French colonies, so I came here with zero English. And so she kind of took care of me when things were really bad, because after a few years I had to separate with people I was working with, and I ended by myself. With literally not even $10 in my pocket living on Namo, with just 2 Djembes, and a dream to stay after a while, because I found out that there's actually a lot to do here. It's nothing like this, so I really wanted to stay at the end. But that lady really took care of me, because when I had no place to stay, she moved her house and came and bought and took an apartment with 2 rooms next to my apartment that I was currently living in. So the day I came out of the apartment, because I couldn't stay in Hong Kong anymore, I wanted to go home. And how? I couldn't pay the rent. It's a week left for my visa to expire. There's no lights. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to the police, I'm gonna go to my landlord, I'll give them the keys to tell them I'm leaving. And I'll go to the police and give myself so they can, because I had no even ticket back.
To basically deport you.
Deport me. As I came out of my apartment, this lady is right in front of me, this Chinese mom. I'm like, what's this? And she goes, where are you going? I'm like, Mom, I'm going to give this key to, with our broken, remember, we only speak, but we have a language, we made it English, Chinese, so we can talk, she understands, I understand. Nobody else will understand, but we would. So people would come to her house, her friends, all the Chinese, just to have dinner and see how I live. Because that's the interest in the communication we had. So she's like, where are you going? I'm like, I'm gonna go and hand out this, Mom. I gotta go, I have nothing, I can't even buy my next meal. And she's like, you have a mother here? I'm here. I said, yes, and I appreciate everything. And she goes, I moved just here. I'm like, what? She said, I took out the house right next door to yours. I'm like, what for? And she says, come in. So I come, she shows my room. She said, this is your room. Even if you wake up every morning, even if you do your bed, you're gonna have problem with me. Don't do anything. The only thing I'm asking you to do is get out and find somebody to help you stay here. I'm like, I have 1 week left. She's like, just go. At least you have somewhere to sleep, to eat, just go. So thank God I went out and spoke to someone who had a swimming, that's the swimming part, who had a swimming team, so he had a lot of kids. And when I came to him and talked to him about what I did, and also my swimming background, so he had the idea to actually open a drumming team. So me coaching the kids drumming as well, and perform all over Hong Kong. I said, that's good, and that's when he just decided to sponsor me personally. So he wrote a letter, handwriting letter, to the government, and they accepted it and gave me my first ID card.
That's
So,
amazing.
Like I said before, even I moved Senegal, and you know Senegal is a football country. I actually won the best keeper in my junior category. So I was full on into sport, and I'm sure if I didn't do drumming, I would do sport. And in fact, when I came here, I had a few basketball academies that I used to run, and I just had to give him up to focus on the drumming.
Super. Something tells me that if you didn't come to Hong Kong because of the djembe, it would have been your sporting ability. Music has to be for revolution. Music is the weapon. I just love that quote because it summed up so much. Yes, we are not in an active war, but we can use the little tools at our disposal to what we're doing here is reshaping the narrative. What you're doing is to teach about the African continent through the drum. What Ms. Lola is doing is to use her voice to slice through the stereotypes that may exist, to slice through the sort of cultural gaps and divides that exist. And I just want to end this conversation with that and just take it home with us to say, just as he eloquently explained, music is like food, right? If it just tastes good, it's good. So thank you so much for being the trailblazer that you are. Again, I'm not exaggerating when I call him that. You're a trailblazer, my brother. You're a pioneer. We are so encouraged that you came before us and you've literally paved the way. People are not scratching our skin anymore, thank goodness, to check if, you know, our color's coming off. But you've paved the way. You've had to walk the very difficult path for Hong Kong to get to where it is now. Thank you for spreading the word on our beautiful continent through the Djembe. And we'd love to hear more about what you do, where you do it, where we can access it, where is it that we can go on in the immediate, you know. There's some maybe pages that we can visit, social media pages. But over and above, thank you so much for the conversation and just sharing your story with us.
My pleasure.